Welcome. I haven't done one of those in a while. Welcome. Anyway, it's nice to be with you. Welcome. We are talking politics and religion without killing each other. Actually, sometimes I have to admit, I it's not that I want to kill anybody, but I'll tell you what, that my patience is sometimes tested, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Anyway, I am your host, Corey Nathan. It is an honor to be a part of the Democracy Group. That's a network of podcasts that examines what's broken in our democracy and how we can work together to fix it. Also, before I get started, definitely want to shout out our sponsors, the Village Square and Mesa Wealth Management. Really appreciate the folks who are helping us keep the lights on. Be sure to check out these wonderful organizations. We have links in the show notes so you can do just that. Now, let me get to it. It happened again. I just put it right out there. It happened again. I know that I have this program. I know it's called Talking Politics and Religion Without Killing Each Other. And I am the worst. Sometimes I am just the absolute worst. I let folks get to me, and I'm the worst example of modeling the proper behavior because I let folks get under my skin, and I lose my shit. I just lose my shit. And it bothers me that I let folks get to me that way. It bothers me that I haven't earned any sort of I don't know if there's an equivalent of a black belt in doing this stuff. It just bothers me that I let folks get to me, and I let myself be bothered by it. So here's what happened. I went to the No Kings rally here in my town. Really encouraging. Lots of different people, old, young, all different backgrounds and ethnicities. I saw veterans there. I saw folks who, have attended Republican gatherings along with me. Obviously, a lot of folks that are pretty far left from the conversations that I had, and a lot of American flags, a lot of patriotism, a lot of the very model of what you'd want, whether you agree with what No Kings Rally stands for or not. It's exactly what you'd want as representative, a model of peaceable assembly, a model of people expressing their First Amendment rights. It was great. It was fantastic. Later that night, 9:30 at night, this is a Saturday, I get a text from somebody that I've considered a friend, a close friend actually. And it starts out with a bunch of memes that are basically mocking anyone and everyone who attended the No Kings rally. And then I've actually, this is going on memory. So because I actually erased the thread, it was so disturbing. I immediately said, hey, this is a gathering of people who express their First Amendment rights in a peaceable way. Ain't it great? Kept on mocking. And then the person said something that some random person said something about a mutual friend of ours in a public forum and said, this is what your people do. I wish you'd, rethink your associations. And I'm like, hold on, stop. Just stop right there. What that person did, I don't agree with. But wait, are you asking me to account for anyone and everyone who you now are associating with the clowns that the people this large group of people that you've generalized and now you're mocking and making a mockery of? And you're throwing darts at. Now I have to account for anything and everything that any person on that side, that entire group of people, has ever done. I have to account for it. And then I have to now rethink all of my. So I have lots of questions now. One, what are my associations? Have you ever asked? I know you've interrogated me, but you've never spent any time to ask about it. You've never spent any time with any sense of curiosity about what my positions actually are. And yes, indeed, I have conservative views, but yes, indeed, I was at the No Kings rally because of my conservative views. But we've never talked about that. You've interrogated me many times about it, but you've never talked to me about it. You've never listened to me about it. You've never listened to what my views actually are. I have lots of problems. So you can see, I'm getting really excited. This is what, 2 or 3 weeks ago already? I'm still upset about it. You could see that I'm getting really excited about it. Anyway, it got to a point where you can see I lost my shit. And it bothers me that I let any person, even if somebody that I considered a close friend, get to me about this to that degree. And I'm still bothered by it to this day. But here's the thing. Let me just take a step back. It got me thinking, is there ever a time when we should, quote unquote, unfriend, when we should rethink a relationship? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. I was so upset by this person's actions, by what this person did on so many different levels. And it got me thinking, when is it time? When is it time to distance? I've talked about this before. I'll still love you, but I'm going to love you from a safe distance. I'm going to love you from far away. We no longer are going to be able to have this conversation because you can't have this conversation. So what are those things? Before I get into those things, the preface is I'm going to list 5 different reasons that would justify distancing yourself from a relationship. And I know that might sound contrary to the work that I've been doing here for the last over 5 years. But sometimes staying in the game means that you got to cut off certain people. I hate doing it. But sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's necessary in order to stay in the game. You have to inoculate yourself from complete toxicity, from people who've betrayed relationships, from people who've betrayed friendships. Sometimes it's got to be done. So I'm going to preface the 5 things by saying, 1, any of these 5 things, I'm going to ask, am I doing it? Am I engaging in any of these things? Because if I am, I got to check myself. 2, I've already said it. I hate doing it. I hate cutting people off. I hate giving up on people. And maybe it's not really giving up on people. Maybe it's saying, you know what? I'm going to pause for a while. I'm going to keep a safe distance for a while. Or I'm going to keep a safe distance until further notice. If somebody's really crossed the line, they don't occupy space in my head and in my heart. Because out of deference to the people that I love, that I care about, the people who have not betrayed our relationship, I'm not going to let somebody who has upset me so much that it's upsetting to the people around me. Nevertheless, I hate doing it. So the preface, the before I get into the 5 things, am I engaging in any of this myself? Please know I hate doing it. And 3, any one of these things individually might not be cause for distancing yourself from a relationship. Even a couple of these things at the same time. But all 5 of these things at work at the same time, yeah, it is definitely time to say, you're out, you're gone, you're done, I'm done with you. So what are these 5 things? All 5 of these things took place in this one interaction. So in a way, I'm glad that it happened. So number 1, when someone begins to mock and attack entire groups of people, you're taking an entire class of people in your mind and you're drawing a categorization, and often you're mischaracterizing in order to what? In order for you to throw stones at entire groups of people? The other word for that is bigotry, is prejudice. That's what you're doing. You've just drawn an entire class of people that you now have given yourself license to hate. That is prejudice and hatred. And I won't have it. On a more individual level, the other thing that this individual did is they misconstrued my views. They misconstrued my views because they never bothered to listen to my views. They might think they know what my views are because they've interrogated me, and I didn't qualify to have their level of orthodoxy and purity on one particular. This individual has one particular issue that they're really passionate about. I get it. It's about 49th on my list of things that I give a shit about. But this is the number 1 thing for this individual, and I didn't have all the right answers. I don't care. It happens to be guns. Now, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. I do want I go along with other conservative legal minds like David French when it comes to I support well-written and well-enforced red flag laws. That's the only thing I might have ever said about guns with this individual, because that's the only thing that I have any knowledge about. But the other thing I've said, and I'm sure I've said it, is I haven't spent enough time thinking about it to have a really deeply informed view about your Tinker Toys. I know it's an obsession of yours, but I could give a shit. Have all the freaking guns you want. You know, I don't know. My kids play with Legos. You play with guns. Whatever. Go with God. But to the extent that I've ever thought about it, that's what I've thought about it. Well written, well enforced red flag. But according to this person, that makes me a freaking Marxist. But he's interrogated me. He's never listened to anything else that I've ever had to say. He's interrogated me. He hasn't leaned in with genuine curiosity about anything else. So what does he do? He misconstrues my views. He projects onto me what he thinks my views might be, but has never taken the time to listen. Why is that? Because his style of engagement isn't one of collaboration or conversation. It's interrogation, like I've said several times here already. So of course my views are going to be misconstrued. I should, and it's funny because as I say this, there have been several encounters where all of the evidence was already there that this individual did not earn the right to be in a conversation with me. That the second that I got that first text at 9:30 at night on a Saturday night about the fact that, I went to a No Kings rally, that I expressed my First Amendment rights along with 7 million other Americans. Ain't it great? And that this individual mocked me. Yeah, I should have cut the conversation off right there. This person hasn't earned the right to be in the conversation with me. So, of course, the individual is going to misconstrue my views. They've never bothered to listen. They're rigid and closed-minded to the extent that they've never listened to my views. So that also, that's a disqualifier. Not on its own, but combined with everything else. That's a disqualifier. When someone mocks or attacks entire groups of people, or when someone misconstrues my views. Which goes along with the third thing, when there's little or no opportunity to be heard or understood. If you haven't heard or understood me in the first place, of course you're going to misconstrue my views. But the other encounters I've had with this person, and I don't know if you have a person in your life like this, or several people in your life like this, you start to get into a conversation, they dump a whole pile of garbage on you, their opinion, or they grill you, and then all of a sudden they pull the plug. I'm done, I'm going to bed. I'm done, I'm done with this conversation. Oh, we have nothing else to talk about. They pull the plug on the conversation, and you don't have the opportunity to express your views. You don't have the opportunity to be seen, to be heard. They dehumanize you by not allowing you to be fully engaged in the conversation. So there's no opportunity to be heard or understood. Why? Because, in this case, you haven't been heard. You've been grilled, but you haven't been asked with curiosity. You haven't been given the basic, offered the basic decency from the other individual to be asked a question with genuine curiosity. They certainly share their views, left, right, and center. But when it comes time for you to try to expound on your views on a situation, it doesn't matter. There's only interrogation. I've used that word several times now. So that's the tenor of how these conversations have gone. So again, not any one of these things is disqualifiers, but together they're all related. And then to make based on a lack of curiosity and interrogation, assumptions are made and misconstruals are made in order to associate me or you or somebody else, wrongly mislabel or associate me with certain groups. So it's all part of the same package. Somebody mocks or attacks entire groups of people. They misconstrue my views. Why? Because they never bothered to listen. I haven't been heard. I haven't been understood. So then I'm wrongly, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I'll share this episode in a few days, that was quoting Kierkegaard. And I can't wait to read this, the longer treatise of Kierkegaard's, where he talks about that which labels me dehumanizes me. I've been talking about that for a while. There, depending on how you interpret Kierkegaard's words, it's that which labels me negates me. I think that's the better translation. That which labels me negates me, because once you assign me to a group, then none of the rest of my humanity matters. You have your label, and everything that you see about me is filtered through that. You're looking through a set of glasses where, in this instance, everything about me is leftist, according to this individual, right? Now, if I was on the left, first of all, people that I love, people that I care about, people that I respect are on the left. And there are views that I understand. So, frankly, if I was on the left, it's not something that I would shy away from. It's not something that I would feel any need to apologize for. But what's troublesome is that this individual insists on labeling me as a leftist. So again, if I was, I'd have something to defend. But what's troubling about it is that he's asking me to defend ground that I don't hold. He's asking me to defend, to account for positions that I don't believe in, that have nothing to do with me. So it's troublesome on various levels. It's troublesome on various levels because I don't feel the need to defend positions I don't hold. But also, if we're friends, don't you know what my views are? you know? Don't you know I'm taking heat from, people on the left who are pissed off that I supported our Republican candidate for the state Senate? Don't you know I'm taking heat from people on the left who know that I don't support Prop 50? I mean, don't you know? Come on. I could go down the list of things, but I'm not going to sit here and account for all the different positions. But the fact that this individual is labeling me as anything, it takes away the rest of, just within the world of politics. Just within the world of politics. It's taking away every other view that I have. He mentioned something about trans or something. I don't know. Is that an obsession of yours? I don't know. I happen to not think that trans athletes, that's complicated for me. I want to, it's not something that I have thought too much about because the instances of it happening here in our state are so few and far between. It's not top of mind for me. So before I even espouse any views on it, I'd want to talk to friends of mine who are trans, or friends of mine who have trans relatives and people that they love. I'd want to talk to them about it. But frankly, these are cases that don't come up nearly as frequently as freaking assholes spouting off. That's what I got to deal with more. Assholes spouting off who mock entire groups of people. That's a bigger concern to me. Trans athletes, that's not a concern to me. You know why? Because it's like one in a gazillion that it happens. So it's not a problem. You know what is a problem? People mocking entire groups, mocking and attacking entire groups of people. You know what else is a problem? People misconstruing my views. That's a problem. You know what else is a problem? Not having the opportunity to be heard or understood by somebody who's supposed to be a close friend. You know what else is a problem? Being mislabeled and wrongly associated with groups of people that you now hate, that you are expressing a grave bigotry for. That's a problem. Trans, I don't know. You think I have a position on trans? You're telling me what my position is, even though you've never heard me talk about it. That's the problem. Not freaking trans athletes. Give me a freaking break. And then the fifth thing is when someone insists that I account for the sins of any member of an entire group. So I'm mislabeled or wrongly associated with an entire group. And then the individual insists that I account for the sins of any member of that group. So by this logic, this individual happened to vote for Donald Trump. I know, for a lot of you, that's no freaking surprise. This individual voted for Donald Trump. So by this logic, he affirmed someone who was adjudicated and found liable for sexual assault. So by this logic, he is in favor of sexual assault. I mean, that's just one. That's just one. You want to go down the list of wrongs of the individual that that this person affirmed of Donald freaking Trump? By this logic, he's asking me to. So what do you say about, he picked some rando who left a comment on a online thing uh, because like I don't even know what the association is. This is what your people, my people, this is what your people do. I wish you'd reconsider your alignment. What the fuck are you talking about? So these are any number of reasons individually that would give me pause, but maybe not hit the brakes on a relationship. But when someone mocks or attacks entire groups of people, when someone misconstrues my views, and they'll misconstrue my views, why? Because there's little or no opportunity to be heard or understood. And then when someone mislabels or wrongly associates me with certain groups, why? Because they misconstrue my views. Why? Because they haven't heard or understood what my actual views are. So of course they're going to associate me with entire groups of people that they are hating. Again, which is bigotry. When you hate entire groups, when you take an entire group of people, you label them, and then you start throwing hatred at them, it's bigotry, it's prejudice. That's what it is. And then when someone insists that I account for the sins of any member of an entire group. So all of these things, if they're all happening at the same time, yeah, it's reason to hit the unfriend button. I'm not just talking about Facebook. I'm talking about an actual relationship. So I did erase this thread. He texted me at 9:30 on a Saturday. What the fuck are you doing? Two is I blocked this person's number from being able to call me because they have no right. They've lost the right to contact me any further. And it might be temporary, but there's very little that I'm interested in talking to this individual about any further because of all those five things together. And here's what's even worse. This is what's going to make me look like a freaking idiot. Is it's not the first time it's happened. He did the same freaking thing on June 4th, whenever the one in June was. The same damn thing. And by the way, that wasn't the first time it happened. It's happened before. When he went about mocking and attacking entire groups of people. Again, I'll go through it one more time. Mocking and attacking entire groups of people. So listen, by the way, these are just for me. This incident, which is now almost 3 weeks ago or whatever, at least 2 weeks ago, it was a gift in a way because it got me to really take inventory of what are the red lines for me. We're doing all this. We're trying to engender the right way to engage across our differences. But at the end of the day, there are some red lines somewhere. What are they for me? What are they for me? Now, you might have different red lines. You might just have one of these. I mean, but just to thine own self be true. Know yourself. So in a way, this interaction was a gift for me because it allowed me to take inventory and articulate what are these things that no one of these things, not one of these things by itself is the red line, is the causes the eject button, but all of them together, especially when they happen over and over again. That's when you hit the eject button. And I got to know my limits. So when someone mocks or attacks entire groups of people, big red flag. When someone misconstrues my views, which means 3, there's little or no opportunity to be heard or understood. And then because of that, when someone mislabels or wrongly associates me with these groups, these groups that they're categorizing in order to attack and be hateful towards. And then when that individual insists that I account for the sins of any member of this entire group, all those 5 things together, that's when it's time to hit the eject button on a relationship. So listen, I know this is something different. I know that maybe this is going against brand, talking politics and religion without killing each other. I get it. But this is so upsetting. And I've also been sharing, by the way, I've been sharing on Substack things that I struggle with Uh, and that's the thing. I never pretended to be the expert at this. Monty Guzman is the expert at this. David Brooks is the expert at this. I've seen them in action, and they're saints in my book. Maybe I'm setting them up for failure. I don't think so because they're wonderful examples. But I'm not pretending to be the expert. The only thing I'm telling you is that I'm a soldier that I'm going to keep on going into these conversations with the intent to do it better, with the goal of doing it better. And then when I screw up, and listen, maybe you'll see this as me screwing up, but I'm sharing it with folks publicly. I am going through this learning process, this painful learning process publicly, and sometimes it leaves scars, man. It leaves scars. So that's my commitment is to share it, to share what I'm going through, to share what I'm processing. And a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a year from now, I might think completely differently about it. But here's what I'm going through now. And I've shared some things, very personal things on Substack, because I feel like that's the work. That's the work, to be very candid about what I'm struggling through. But my goal is still the same. No, I haven't arrived there. I haven't perfected this thing called talking politics and religion without killing each other. Far from it. But I'm sharing the journey. And that's all I'm claiming to do. So I hope you can bear with me as I do it. I hope this is helpful to you. I'd be interested to hear what you thought. Easy to find at Corey S. Nathan on all the socials, including Substack, doing a lot of engagement there. I'll probably share an article. Before this drops, my most recent article probably will have dropped at Corey, S as in Sam, Nathan, at Corey S. Nathan. If you dig what we're doing, remember to follow the show, write the review, follow us on all the socials, check us out on Substack. Like I said, we have links in the show notes too. Your support, your engagement, all of it makes a difference. So thank you for all of it. Now, go talk some politics. Do your best. Just do your best. Politics and religion without killing each other, and with gentleness, with respect. Do better than these things that I've outlined here. Do better than that. If you catch it, and I'm trying to catch myself when I do any of these things as well. And other than that, have a great week. And that's it. All right.